And always like the little banter, and then I can take clips from it,
Yeah.
and edit them and use them for other stuff anyway. So, but I seen your grind. I was like, yeah, when I seen you on TikTok and I was listening to you, I said, man, this man right here, I need to talk to fam because he always got some good stuff cooking. You know what I mean? No matter what, no matter what's going on, you keep some good stuff cooking, man.
I
So,
try, dude. I really
nah,
do. I try. It's been, I mean, I was thinking about it because, dude, back like, I've been posting stuff since like 2012, 2013.
yeah,
And some every now and again, I'll go back to those posts and be like, oh my God, man, you've been doing this for a long time. But then obviously social media did its own thing, took off in a way that I don't think anyone ever really, well, not anyone, but most people didn't expect. And then with
right,
the power of the algorithm and, just took social media and its content to different places that I wasn't ready to go because I just didn't know.
yeah,
And so then I struggled. I struggled with what message to get out. And then, then life's pressure comes on you. And you start thinking, well, if I do this, or if I do that, or if I go down this path, or maybe I could try to be
facts,
this kind of person, or maybe this is the
facts.
business I want to, right? What is going to make me the most money the quickest, and so on and so
Oh
forth.
you preaching to the choir, boy. I'm telling you, man, everything that you just said, everything I've experienced, all of that. You know what I mean? Like just all of it. It's just part of the game. I think one of the biggest things too is that I had real reservations about even getting in front of the camera. Cause, I come from the old school way of you never took a picture. You know what I mean? Because of the things you was involved with. So,
Right,
being on
right, right.
right. So being on camera, I mean, even in my mind right now, I'm Sean, listen, I promise you right now, in my mind, in the back of my mind, I have a list of names of people who's gonna come out of the woodwork whenever they get the opportunity. Just to say, no, I really know that guy. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
really know the real him back in 1998 when he was, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like
I remember. I remember when. Yeah, I remember when people.
yeah, yeah, that's what they are. That's
But
exactly
ain't that good? Ain't that the good thing about God and God's grace, man? That you don't have to be the same person you were 20 years ago. You don't even have to be the
yeah,
same person you were 5 minutes ago.
yeah,
If you don't
yeah.
want
That's a
to.
fact.
And then
That's a fact.
God's, every day, dude, I thank God for his amazing grace, tender mercy, and
Yeah,
his unmerited favor. When I think about where I would be, because we all got a past,
right.
we all got dirt, and the dirt's different, but it's still dirty. And I look back, man, shake my head in awe sometimes and just go, I can't even believe that I'm still here. It's just like here, let
That's
alone
right.
doing what I'm doing, let alone being
Mm.
blessed the way that I am. Just, man, could have got rid of me a long time ago.
Hey, look, before you look, I got to do this. I got to stop you right there only because I got to say, welcome to God's Fault, people. And you are joining me today, Nyjah, a.k.a. the comeback king, baby, because we keep coming back. Can't keep us down. And today I'm being joined with my family, Cuzzo, a great man. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, Sean, if you even knew how much you inspired me just through our time knowing each other, man, and
All
loving
right.
on each other, I'm telling you right now, brother, you are probably one of the most influential people to me personally, just from watching.
Right. I
Just
appreciate
from watching, and not saying that that means you have everything all together. Because we've had conversations outside of this, obviously. But what I admire about you the most is that your everything that it seems that you do, no matter what you're going through or dealing with, you still want to be the best version of you that you can be at all times. And you want to share that with other people, man. I think that's one of the dopest
it.
things in
Yeah.
the world.
No,
I really do.
that's out of necessity, man. But that's why I believe in it so much, because it
Yeah.
is out of necessity. And I don't think it's just necessary for me, it's necessary for all of us.
Yeah, you know what? And that's exactly why I wanted to invite you on to have this conversation, man, on the God's Fault podcast, because a lot of I think the culture right now is in a place of shift. I think there's more people who desire change than what's being demonstrated on social media, on, TV, music. I really believe that because the people that I come in contact with on an everyday basis don't care about that stuff. You know what I mean? Like they're too busy trying to survive, trying to figure life out. You know what I mean? Keep their heads above water, whatever the case may be. These are just real people. They're trying to save marriages. They're trying to, save their children. They got grown children that they're dealing with. That, like, the people that I know and deal with every day, they really are not swayed. I mean, their life doesn't appear to be what social media is saying the culture is.
Yeah.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
I do, man, because to be honest with you, it's so hard to get that bag really, right?
Yeah.
The culture will have you think it's easy, right? The culture will have you think just, do what you do, follow your passion, live out the dream, get the bag, get the money, get the airplane, get the car, do the travel, get the women, the men, the whatever. And they
Yeah.
make it sound so easy in a rap lyric. But the
Yeah.
truth is, that's not real life for 99.999% of people. To your point, people today, man, forget about the bag. They're trying to get groceries.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I
Facts.
mean? Like, forget about that. They're trying to get groceries, dude, and just have
Yeah.
something to eat.
Yeah, that's real.
As a
That's
pastor, I
real.
see it all the time because, I got people in my church and my congregation that are indeed struggling, bro. And then just in my
Mhm.
conversations with people like you, it's not about getting a bag. It's about survival right now. And then
Yeah.
the other thing I noticed is now even the younger generation isn't falling for that lie, though.
Talk
They're
about
not
that.
they're not falling for that lie. They have, I don't know if it's because they've seen it in their parents or they've seen the way the real grind looks, but
Yeah.
this whole thing of the American dream, man, they're not really falling into like what they might consider the lie or the misleading nature of this dream life. And they're rebuking and coming against some of that materialistic kind of movement and toward meaning like moving towards the materialistic, moving towards getting all you can and can and all you get for
Right.
their own personal gain. And they're very much more community minded and driven. And
Mm.
I've noticed like this little pivot from pleasure. Hopefully they learn to pivot out of pleasure and then into purpose. That's
Yo,
my
wait a
only.
minute. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You just went somewhere. You just might have cracked the code because you specifically said they're going from pleasure
Yeah,
to purpose, bro.
yeah.
Yo, that's crazy. First, that's crazy to even say that because I don't think we even realize how much energy we've wasted. I know personally I have in pursuing pleasure.
Oh God, yeah. Wasted energy, wasted time, wasted. I mean,
Right.
I'm about to turn 50, so I'm not even looking at it. I'm looking at it in terms of wasted years.
Yeah, me too. Same.
Maybe even
Mm-hmm.
wasted decades.
Yeah.
Like what did we waste? Pursuing this pleasure, and then as we pursue the pleasure, what did that pleasure give me? What did that pleasure actually provide me? And then I use this
Right.
term, what value did it provide me? Now, it might have provided me a
Mm-hmm.
lot of fun. It might have provided me, that dopamine hit, that
Yeah.
feeling of, oh, wow, I can't believe we're doing this or I did that or whatever. But at the end of the day, man, after that pleasure fades, man, shame moves right in or guilt moves right in. And while the pleasure lasts 5 to 7 minutes, man, the guilt and shame could last a lifetime,
Yeah, that's a
you
fact.
know?
Nah,
So,
that's real right there. I think, a lot of people in prison dead right now because of a split second choice
right,
that they made for
right.
pleasure. Like, that's insane to even think about that. Like the power of choice and prioritizing pleasure over purpose, where I think the majority of us naturally live because I feel like this is the system that this is all it breeds. Like, you got to remember, like, we're consumers. That's what they label us. The system labels us consumers. So the only time we are valuable is when we're consuming.
Buying something and building someone else's dream.
Right. And then, so there's one thing that and everybody in this country has in common since the day they was born until the day they die. The one thing you have in common, I don't care where you from, you have been bombarded with ads. You have been bombarded with ads and been told what makes you happy, what makes you important, what makes you better if you have these products. And then they bombard you with this and bombard you with this 24/7. You cannot escape it no matter where you go. So you're natural. If you don't have that understanding of what's happening to you, you are swayed. And I believe a lot of people believe they are the products. people, they're so representative of this thing. You have to have this, or I only can eat that, or you know what I mean? Or I only wear this. And it's like, wait a minute, that doesn't make you, because you was you before that existed.
Yeah, like that doesn't I that's a form of like an identity crisis,
Right,
because
right,
you lack your own identity, so you've got to latch on to this brand's identity, and in hopes that that brand identity becomes your identity, because you don't have an
mm,
identity in yourself, so you got to have an identity in the Rolex, or identity in the Louis Vuitton bag, or the Gucci
you cooking.
glasses, or whatever.
Yeah,
So you lost your own identity. So you got to latch on and connect with an identity of a brand in order to give you some sense
right,
of purpose in life and dignity, or whatever the word I'm looking for is. But you know what I'm trying
right,
to say,
right.
right? Like
No,
you
no,
lost yourself, so you got to try to find yourself inside of something else, and that's never going to work.
listen, that's so on point. Have you, I'm sure you probably know it, Myron Golden. You know Myron Golden?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I know Myron Golden.
So my when I first discovered Myron Golden, the first podcast or whatever he was doing, he was discussing what lie identity is. That term lie identity,
Lie
the
identity.
lie identity,
I haven't
meaning
heard. I heard
you
that one,
haven't
but I
heard
like
that?
it. Nah,
So check it out. So the lie identity is basically you portraying what everybody else expects you to be, or what you think everybody expects you to be. So you really never, so you're living a lie because it's really not you. You just projecting because somebody once told you you was funny. Now you're trying to be funny all the time
be
because
the
that's
funny
what
guy.
people liked most about you. Somebody told you one day you had a nice outfit on. Now you can't go anywhere without best dressed. So now your whole purpose is focusing on Gucci head to toe. And you know what I mean? Because that's you. And if they catch you without Gucci on, oh man, you must be doing bad. So these are the things, oh, he's known to have all the best whips, or he's known to have all the best girls. So it's just all these little things that we take on because we don't value ourselves, or we don't even understand who we are. And before we go any further, because I wanna give you an opportunity to kind of tell people exactly who you are, where you are right now, because this conversation is getting good. But I want the people to understand, why you understand so much about the things you do. You know what I mean? So if you could just share what you currently working on right now, what you got going on, so they can kind of understand who Shawn Walker is.
Oh man, it's hard to consolidate because I've been doing this for so long.
Mm.
So uh, since I was a kid, dude, I remember walking into a classroom back when I was a junior in high school, and I was asked to go talk to a group of kids at another school, a bunch of middle
What?
schoolers.
Okay.
My great grandmother used to do like um, foster grandparent care.
Yeah.
She asked me to come in and talk to the kids. And I was just 16 or 17 years old. I remember going in there and having the time of my life in front of these kids, right?
Oh,
And
that's
and
dope.
really just diving into whatever the conversation was, but feeling like, oh my God, this was so easy. It was so fun. The
Yeah.
kids and we interacted, right? And I felt like I provided some value. I felt like I had purpose in that moment. Now I
Mm.
didn't know it going into it, but leaving, I remember thinking, whoa, that was super cool, very interesting. And I kind of like started this process of me wanting to do that and experience that, make that kind of impact on people for the rest of my life. And what happened was I didn't know how to do that professionally. Obviously, I was a kid.
Right. Right.
And then I followed down the path of do what you got to do. Go to school, get the degree, get the job. In the meantime, I had started a family super early, 19 years old. So like life is life, and as the kids
Right.
say today. And I'm now in survival mode, man. I just need a job that's gonna put some money in my pocket so I can pay this rent and whatever.
Right.
So fast forward a couple of years, my early 20s, I start suffering from major anxiety and depression. And I didn't know why at the time. I understand it now, but I didn't know
Yeah.
why at the time. And that was when I first stepped back into church. I'm like, I got to go back home. You know what I mean? I got to get back home, get back
Okay.
into my faith, get rooted again and grounded again in faith. Because I was always a faithful kid, past when I was 12, sure enough believer, sure enough prayer my whole life. But then I lost it, man. Life was life, and I just kind of, it got out of control, and I lost. I wasn't doing nothing wrong or bad. I just wasn't rooted.
Right.
So this depression, anxiety hits, and I jump back into the church. And you probably remember Bishop Smith. That was the most preachingest man I've ever met in my life,
Right.
up close and personal. So long story short, I started to find my faith again. And then a few years into that, I realized that I was called to preach and to
Okay.
share this good news with everybody that I could. And so since then, I've been on a journey to try to do that in some form or fashion. And it's taken on many iterations. And like I was telling you before, sometimes due to the pressure of life, and I need this money, or I need to pay this bill, or I need to get this tuition, or whatever the case might be, I would pivot in and out. I would
Okay.
pivot in and out of what I was called to do because I didn't know how I was going to monetize or how I was going to get paid or whatever. And then just recently, man, literally within the last couple of weeks, God has kind of given me some blessings, put some people in my life that has helped me get realigned and refocused for what my true purpose is. And so now I'm just out here preaching the gospel on Sundays, teaching it on Wednesdays. And then alongside of that, my business is to try and help people that are rooted in faith,
Okay.
who are doing the right things, look successful on paper, but on the inside feel like there's got to be more to life than this.
In your business right there. So
Okay.
okay. All right. Yeah. Tell me about this business, man. Because we was having a little technical difficulties, but we back. But tell me about the business. Lay that down again. That last part you were just saying.
Yes.
That they look
So I got a day job, right? So I've
right.
been a sales professional for 20 plus years, almost 30 years.
Yeah,
I can't even believe I'm old enough to say that.
that's
Uh,
crazy, right?
I'm 27,
That's
20,
wild.
28 years into my professional career. That is
Wow.
what pays my bills. I can't say that I've ever been passionate about it. I'm just good at it. And so it's enabled me to take care of my family. But
Wow.
alongside of that work is my mission to preach and teach the good news, man. Share that with as many people as I can on Sundays and Wednesdays through the platform that is the church. But then I've
Okay.
got this business that I've created, and I just simply call it Shawn Walker Speaks. And the latest iteration of that is getting back to my true purpose, is
Mm,
getting back to who I've been called to be and then to do that work. And that work is to really kind of connect with people who are rooted in their faith, right? They got faith, they got heart, they
right.
got belief, but life has lifed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And while they look successful on paper, they got the two cars in the driveway. They got a, 2,000 square foot house. Just like, the cars ain't
Right.
fancy. They're not
Mm-hmm.
Beamers and Mercedes, but it's that Ford. It's that Ford Freestar and that Chevy
Right.
Cavalier, that Honda Civic, right? Whatever it is, man. They're not living like this life, but this, huge financial materialistic life, but they look good on paper. Yet
Right.
on the inside, they're like, there's got to be more to life than this,
Right.
right? Because they got stuck in being the person that the world dictated for them to be, that provider, that money maker, that makes sure food's on the table, that makes sure the kids are lifted up, make sure, right,
Right.
doing all the stuff that we do every day as leaders in our homes,
Right.
but they've lost their own sense of purpose for themselves. And so I call it potential to performance. So I
Okay.
try to teach people and encourage people to understand, even in your later ages, man, like I said, I'm about to turn 50, that I still got potential, that you still got potential, and it's still
Right.
untapped. And then what do we got to do to tap into that potential? And then ultimately, watch this, turn that potential into life's performance, right? So that you can execute through life every day and then as you become that best version of yourself, you are now doing life the way that God had called you, to do it and live it.
Right. Yeah, no, that's powerful. That's pretty dope. So with the business, is it more like how do you find clients? Do they come to you from content that you create like in your DMs, or do you seek out certain people? Like how does that work? Because it seems like it's such a personal, intimate area to have people, deal with and address. I would imagine the people that want that find you possibly more than you find them. Is that right?
Yeah. So under this iteration, it's more people reaching out to me.
Okay.
versus me reaching out to them. Prior to this, I was working on, going into schools and school districts and colleges and universities and talking to students and professionals within the education market. And that was lead generation. That was emails and email sequences and stuff like that.
Right.
This iteration, though, is more about the message and the content. So that's what I mean when I said just being true to myself. Like, I'm just going to go be me. I'm going to say what God has laid on my heart. I'm going to put that message out there ad nauseum. And
Hmm.
then whoever resonates with that message, come at me, come get me. Let's work together. And so I had like I said, one of the blessings in my life is I met this gentleman who does this for a living, personal branding,
Okay.
and he had an opportunity to help me. And so we've been actually in the lab for the last couple of weeks generating content. And so it's about to launch in a big way here in
Wow.
a
I'm
couple of
excited for that.
yeah, a couple of days to weeks because we've got a couple hours worth of content that he's working on editing. And it's been such a blessing because it's a professional studio. Like
Yeah.
it's the real deal.
Right.
And I feel real good about it. The feedback that he's given me has been real positive. So I can't wait to get this message, on the screen, man. It's going to come at you in every way. It's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on the gram. It's going to be
Listen,
on
I can't
TikTok.
wait. I can't wait because I'm
Everywhere.
gonna tell you what. Because just your regular TikTok videos are so to me are just they're just so spot on because
Amen.
it's it's the time, the length of them, the background music, like everything, and your tone, and then most importantly, what you say. I haven't seen a video yet that didn't hit home in some way. And I'm just like, I enjoy watching that. Every time I see it come up in the feed, I don't know if you notice it. I don't just like
I do.
comment. I repost it. I make sure because
Yeah.
I have a ton of followers on TikTok. Who knows what they're following me for at this point? But I got a ton of followers on TikTok. So I said somebody gonna get this message because somebody needs to hear that. But you had said something to me. Well, you had said something when you was talking, and it sparked a thought because you had mentioned two things, and it was cool because it made me go back to the first thought you said it. You were saying sort of like people helping people later on in life, like in their, approaching 50s, whatever. But then when we were speaking a little bit earlier, you was talking a little bit about your own personal story, and you had mentioned how you had wasted so much time, or you felt like you wasted so much time, right? I was thinking there, I was like, that time, all the time that we lived, I don't believe there's no time wasted when you pivot. Because once you pivot, now everything that you did in that time now becomes experience.
Yep.
You know what I
I,
mean? So
yeah, I would agree with that because the truth is, right, you can't pivot without that prior experience.
right,
Because it's that prior experience, it's all that you've gone through, all that you felt around what you've gone through, all of the processing what you've gone through, whether it's trauma or otherwise, bad decisions or otherwise, whatever it is, just being late, whatever it is, doesn't matter.
right.
Those experiences are what drive you to the pivot,
That's correct. That's
right? Because
correct.
you wouldn't pivot, right? Obviously, you wouldn't pivot without having a reason to pivot. And all those experiences provide the reason for you to come to yourself like the prodigal son and pivot out of the mess and go back home. And so, yeah, no, I agree with you. I have this thing about wasted time. Wasted is the wrong word.
Okay.
I'll use this word, squandered. So
Okay.
the time wasn't wasteful to your point
Okay.
because I had experiences that led to the pivot. But squandered is a better word, maybe. Because
Okay.
squandered isn't necessarily, hey, I wasted it, I did nothing. Squandered is just that I could have done more with it and I didn't.
Right. Right. I like that. See, that's why listen. I love not being the smartest person in the room. Sometimes, you know what I mean. I love that because I was waiting for you to land that plane. I'm like, yo, that's pretty good. Squander. See the vocabulary. I love it. No, I think when you launch this content, I know it's gonna be legendary. I
Yeah,
know it is, but because you care. And when you care about something, you invest in it. You step outside comfort zones, you do things different, and that means you put real intention behind it. And so I know it's gonna be dope. I already know. I already know.
yeah,
Yeah, I already know it's gonna be dope. Oh, and if you need to, if you could put your phone on focus mode. I don't know if you have anything set up for that when you record. I always do that in general, not just podcasts, but anything I'm doing, like live, whatever. I have focus mode wherever I go. Have
What does
focus
that
mode.
what does that mean, focus mode?
Oh wait, are you on an iPhone?
Yeah. You mean
Okay.
like focus on my settings?
Yeah, you hit the focus and turn it on because it'll limit the interruptions. People can't call you and message you and stuff
Ah,
while your
then
focus mode is on.
let me do that right now then.
And then we'll see. And like I said, I'm sure it's some cuts in there, but I'll be able to edit it around it as best as possible. It happens to every time, man. It sometimes it still happens to me. I'll forget to put mine on focus mode. I'll be like, man, why did I do that?
All right, hold on. Let me get back to the screen. Okay, yeah, I put it on. Perfect.
Yeah. And then it's so cool too. This is one of the reasons because I was an Android person forever. I love the Android. I used to be able to flash the drives of the Android and put new operating systems on. I used to do like all that little stuff. And I refused to use iPhone forever. I just didn't care. And then Precious, baby girl, Daddy, I'm telling you, is this, is that. The iPhone is this, it could do this and that. And I'm like, it's just a phone. And when I got my first iPhone, and all those I said I could never look back. I was like, I cannot believe I squandered all that time.
Squandered it. Well played.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
Well
but
played.
I love it, man. I love it. The camera, everything, man. So it's pretty good. But so back to what you were saying though. So you have the business launch, you've done so many things, you're in sales, which is my favorite field ever since ever. I try to tell Precious, I tell her, I said, if you was to enter sales, I said you could write your own ticket. Now, granted, there's a culture in sales that's horrible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's horrible, but it's a
Everyone
culture
agrees.
everywhere. But
Yeah.
it seems like in sales though, because I don't work in a few different facets here and there around in my journey in life. But sales is the only place that I ever went to the job the first day and almost had to fight a coworker right off the rip. Right off the rip. Just because you know what he did? It was I was selling cars. I was selling cars in North Carolina at the time. And my first day there, I didn't know anything about sales in general. I didn't know anything. I'm new. And it was my up. They had a system of ups. It was my up. And the guy actually was on the hook and I had him. He sold himself. He wanted the car. He came in to make a purchase. You know what I mean?
Yep, yep.
So I'm just going through the sales process, but I didn't have the official training because it was all happening so fast. So it was so many little steps and stuff. I just wasn't sure what to do. So the guy came, he's acting like oh, I got you. I'm gonna help you. I got you. Don't worry about it. Here, come do this. Go take the car now. You got the paperwork. Take it down to the box. Go over there. Make sure you get the car detail. Let them know it's on all that stuff, right? Deliver the car. Everything's good. We got the paperwork, right? Going back. He's like, all right, now we go split this commission.
Yeah,
Wait a
no.
minute. Wait a minute. Wait, whoa, 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 bro. My first split commission, and it wasn't like he was doing anything. He was just telling me,
I get
go do that,
doing what
or
a good leader
right.
should do, right? Just mentoring you through the process.
Literally, that was it. And I'm like, oh, you like commission? I was like, wait, what are you talking about? You didn't even do anything. And then he started, and man, first day. And sales is crazy because we about to scrap like in the parking lot.
Because that's your money.
That's the money. And look, nobody got fired. Y'all can say sales was the wildest thing ever, man. No matter where I was, man, sales was so crazy. But it has a bit. But since I got into sales early when I was, pivoting in life,
Yeah, yeah.
sales kind of met my makeup. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah. There's certain people, like I tell people this about all the time about sales. Like I've not met in 27 years of doing this, 28, whatever years of doing this, I've not met a single salesperson that said, "Yeah, man, when I was a little boy, when I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a professional salesperson." Nobody. I've not met
That's
one
hilarious.
person. We
Yeah,
all just kind of, because of who we are, our general nature, our makeup, to your point, just kind of fall into it. And
that's
then once
facts.
we do, we realize, oh, I'm really good at this. I got a knack for this. I got a gift for this.
Yeah,
And then the career, if you wanted to, can take off. But yeah, no, I feel you about sales, man. I was the same way. Instead of cars, for me, it was Xerox copiers.
yeah.
Sa-
It's just
Same difference, man. Just
same difference.
hustling
Just
copiers
hustling.
all over the county.
That's it. That's it. And you got to know how to work it. You got to know how to work it. So, all right, let's get back on track. So with all this going on, A lot of experience that we kind of touched base on when we didn't officially start, right? You was covering some talking, discussing some things
How about
personally.
this year? Yeah.
Yes, I would like for you to go back into that. And how does these experiences help you deal with clients currently? Like, how does this happen since you're still actively growing?
Yeah. So one of the things I love about my position in life is that I'm still living it, right?
Right.
That I'm still living it. And so this past year, man, honestly was one of the most difficult years, if not the most difficult year in my entire life.
Whoa.
Yeah. So like
Okay.
top one or two, right? Like that's where this year was for me. And it started actually in 2024, the end of 2024. There was some my company's fiscal year ends in March, and every March is when they make personnel moves. And by that I mean, depending on the state of the business, they cut heads, right? They
Right.
let go of people. And for some reason, man, I just kind of felt like, my time might be up. Like not me specifically, but my role was going to be eliminated.
Right.
We got a new president, we got new leadership, and there wasn't really exposure of my role to the president. He didn't understand the value of the role. What is this? What are these people even doing here? How are they making me money? How are they providing value to the organization? He just didn't know. Like it
Right.
wasn't his fault. He just didn't know. So I'm thinking, man, come March, I'm gonna lose my job. Well, long story short, I didn't lose it in March, but then I had heard from the president that he didn't find value in the job, was reevaluating our role, didn't know if the role was going to continue at all. In the meantime, I had about 8 contract renewals worth $100 and some $1 million that I needed to
Mm,
re-sign. And, I'm thinking if I don't re-sign half of these or 2/3 of these or all of these, I'm gone. That's it. I'm done. Right? I'm done. So I'm going through the whole pressure of just trying to keep my job and what am I going to do? How am I going to provide for my family if this goes away? Polish up the resume, start like putting the resume out there just to like as a backup to make sure that I don't get caught, with the rug pulled out from underneath me and I'm falling and flailing, professionally.
right.
Alongside of that, my children. My oldest kind of was struggling with a couple of things at the end of last year, going into the beginning of this year. And man, I'll tell you what, I long for the days where the biggest problems that my kids gave me were like what cereal they wanted to eat in the morning.
Man.
And did we have diapers and did I have to run to Walmart for formula or whatever, man? Because those problems,
Yeah.
I'd give anything to have those problems back.
I know that's right.
But these problems, dude, big, big problems, mental
Right.
health issues, just a lot of stuff going on. Then my middle son, he was kind of, he had a baby and had to leave school and try to figure his life out, taking 2 steps forward, then 5 back, you know what I mean? But the net gain was a loss, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And trying to figure his life out and then, put one foot in front of the other and try to get his future stabilized. And then my daughter was away at school and she's doing well, but she has so many physical issues and just health problems. She got like, horrible migraines in the ER. She got tuberculosis for
Wow.
crying out loud. Like just crazy.
Tuberculosis. Wow.
Exactly, right? Just
Okay.
the things that don't make sense.
Right.
Then my mom had come through cancer, lung cancer, had 2/3 of her lung removed. My dad,
Mm,
then in the summer, was diagnosed with prostate cancer. So it was just pouring in from everywhere, right?
right.
This year. At the same time, I got these financial issues that I'm trying to overcome. And it's this
Mm,
cloud hanging over my head that no matter where I go, no matter how sunshiny it is outside, I got this cloud over my head of all these financial issues and these
right.
issues in the house and these mental health issues and so on and so forth. And then through all that, the lens I'm viewing this through is depression and anxiety because that's something that I suffer with, right?
Right.
So I say all that to say I love doing what I do because I don't profess to have perfected it. I
Right.
just know there's a process towards perfection, and I'm on that journey and want to take you along that journey with me. Because the truth is, that year that all that went on inside of that year, it didn't kill me. And
Right.
it doesn't have to kill you either, right?
That's right.
And if I just believe right? Like I said, there's got to be more to life than this. If I'm willing to
Mm,
pivot out of pleasure or survival into purpose, then I can turn all my potential that God still has within me into performance and ultimately live the life of my dreams, whatever that looks like. And I don't mean like whips and
right,
yachts
right,
and
right, right,
rich. See, the life of my dreams is living a life on purpose, in purpose, and for purpose. That's the life of my dream. The life of my dreams to get up every day and want to live this life and
right.
go make an impact on this world and in this world. Jesus said it best. He's like, they came to him and they said, "Yo, are you hungry?" He said, "Nah, I ate." And they said, "No, who fed you? Where'd you eat? We didn't see you eat." He's like, "Nah, I got food to eat that you don't know anything about, to do the will of my Father and accomplish his work." And to me, that's the life of my dreams, is to eat the food that satisfies my soul, not
Hmm.
my flesh. So I can eat food that satisfies my flesh, but then my flesh just wants more. You know what I mean?
That's
So
good. Nah, that's
my
good.
flesh just wants more. I
Yeah,
want to eat the food that satisfies my soul. To me, that's living the life of my dreams. Now, if I can eat the food that satisfies my soul and I drive my little Jeep Compass, that's cool.
yeah,
If God wants to bless me with the Mercedes, that's cool too. But the
right,
Mercedes nor the Compass satisfies my soul. That's just
right.
for me to get to the coffee shop and back. What satisfies my soul, what gives me purpose, is the work that I do. Amen.
Yeah.
Right?
Nah, that's real. No, that's real. And it's funny you say that because that's not last year. Actually, 2025 turned out to be a pretty solid year for me, which I'm very blessed and thankful for. 24 February to July, hell, it was straight. It was hell. And when I say I really mean, I can't make no. But I'm telling you right now, it's the worst time ever. And going from there to here. And you want to know the craziest thing about going from there to here? What you said, something that makes me really think. Only I can't get out of my mind helping people that need help. Like, and when I say like it started with like I always try to keep some change, or my wife has some dollars on it or something, because people be on the street begging and doing whatever. And so, everybody kind of shuns these people. They just work and they whatever, right? All I know is that this person has less than I do and they're in need. So here, I got a little something, because I can do whatever I want to do. You see what I mean? So so I just started like, man, you got a couple of yeah. So we just started that earlier last year, and we're now at a point where we're actually actively getting up on purchasing items, doing things, meeting these people where they are. You know what I mean? Because we can do that for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We can do that for them. You know what I mean? We don't want to see anybody suffer. We were just fortunate. My mother-in-law, she blessed me with, for Christmas, my Christmas. Now I'm getting the chills even talking about this. It's crazy. My mother-in-law's Christmas gift to me. She asked me. She said, "Nyjah, honey, what do you want for Christmas? You want to pick it? You want me to pick it?" I said, "Mom, you pick it. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't mean that. You know what I mean? Mom, you pick it. You got, whatever." So I ain't thinking anything of it. This woman, this beautiful woman, gifted me a box of heavy duty blankets.
Huh.
Watch this now. Watch this. 5 big, heavy duty, thick blankets, right? That was just for me to unwrap, because the other 20 was outside in the shed. The boxes are 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
she
yeah, I
bought
got
me
you.
a ton of these things to give out, because she know what I like to do. And me and my daughter, we just putting together some care packages of things for, people, hygiene products,
Yep. Yep.
deodorant, toothpaste, all the essentials. So my mother-in-law caught wind of that. So she decided to do this for me, because she knew, where my heart is at. So she gave me these, man. We ended up being able to give all these out just what was it? Last Saturday. Last week. We gave them all out. And boy, I tell you, I hadn't felt, when I tell you, it was the most alive I've
Yeah.
felt in a long time.
Yeah.
I can't describe it any other way. It was just the most. I had so
Yeah.
much everything, energy. Had everything. Like, it was insane. I can't
Yeah.
describe, like, so, and then it was like, so all this stuff, all this time I thought I knew what I wanted, if that makes sense. I kind of thought like what my goals were, get the bag. I was born to get the bag, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
hustle all that. I was born to get the
Yeah.
bag.
You're
So
you're a
that's
true. You're a true hustler. That's your nature. You're a hustler.
That's what I do. So, but in doing that, God, and I pray every day, for my desires of my heart, purpose, whatever God got going on. I just want to be in that. I want whatever you involved with, God. That's what I want to be involved with. So for this to be my burning desire, it's not even like between. I love making music. I love helping people. And one day, everything that I'm doing is all it's going to do is allow me to help more folks.
Yep. That's right. There's the key right there.
That's the
Yep.
purpose, because I'm under this thing where wherever my arm go like this and my feet go, if I'm in that vicinity and I'm able, I got you. You know what I mean? There shouldn't be anybody suffering when when others in your community is right there. And I think that's one of the things, because I feel like with everything that's going on since 2020, right now, the new president, all these different things, these shifts, I feel like people are now more than ever facing the reality of their circumstances. And it's causing a lot of people to rethink how they're moving, but
Yeah.
they don't know where to move to because there's so much noise out here.
Yeah. Where are you going? Right. Right. Now, so I think that's a perfect point to make. And it kind of goes back to where we started the conversation about these generations now focusing on other stuff because the bag ain't it.
Right.
Because what bag are you getting in this economic environment? Like, what bag really are you getting? First of all, you go to college, private schools are $65,000 a year times
Yeah.
4. That's $250,000
Wow.
to go to get a 4-year degree and most likely come out and not make enough, right, to
Right.
pay for that degree ahead of schedule, right?
Yeah.
You're $250,000 in debt just to start your life. Kids
That's
are saying,
crazy.
why am I doing that?
Yeah.
You can't buy a home. You can't buy a house today like you could years ago to start your family or to start your own life.
Right.
You can't do that. So what is the dream? Where's like we said, forget the bag. And now people are questioning, so where do I go? What can
Right.
I do? Because the things I used to rely on, I can't rely on anymore. And that's where I think like our message comes in, which is, yeah, you can't rely on the president, whether it's Republican or Democrat. You can't rely on the economic environment. You can't rely on
Right.
the stuff that used to be foundational. Now, to me, man, you've got to rely on something deep, right?
Yeah.
Something that is tried and true and proven. And for me, that's faith. You've got to rely on your faith. You've got to put your trust in God. You've got to move in your life in faith, right? So I call it put your faith in action. And so to me, like, if I'm going to go anywhere, I'm going to go to where my faith says go and put that into action and let that be my work, right? Let
Right.
that be my work. So, like if I'm trying to encourage people today, like, what about this money? And what about that bill? And what about this? I'll never get a house. Put your faith in God because God, so this whole thing, it'll shift, right?
Right.
It'll shift, it'll change, it'll morph. But what are you going to do in the meantime? You got to keep
Right.
moving. And sometimes the only way I can continue to move is if I move, in Him. Because again, I have a choice. Am I going to move in purpose or am I going to move in pleasure? Because a
Right.
lot of times when we're struggling with this
Such a
life, we're like, oh, we gotta move in pleasure. Because if we move in pleasure, I could feel good. I could feel better about myself. If I move in
Right.
pleasure, I could get that dopamine rush. I could get that hit. I could survive the moment, right? And or you could move in purpose and then kind of get the fulfillment like you were just talking about in life, right? Feeling
Totally different
energized.
feeling. Yeah.
Totally different
Listen,
feeling. Totally different feeling.
it really is. It's so wild, right? But I feel like we're in a very keep forgetting about that mic. We're in a very complex situation. And here's what I mean. So we are taught, I feel like the biggest struggle with people is faith, finance. So here's it go. And I'm gonna tell you a little story. This true story from 2024. This is real. I just told my man this last night. Shout out to my guys, Aiming the Lion and Grizz, Unapologetically Masculine podcast. Shout out to them. My man Women. I was talking to him last night and I was just sharing. I forget how we even got on this topic. But in 2024, because we're talking about faith, finance, you got a group of people who's always like, oh, when they hear money don't make you happy, they're like, I said, give me the money. You know what I mean? Let me decide, all this stuff, right? All that silly stuff, right? Oh, I never forget this, man. This change, this moment that I'm about to tell you dramatically changed my life and how I look at faith. So 2024, I'm down bad. The position I was in at my job had gradually, but since I was based on commission, wasn't particularly sales, even though I was working with a sales team, I was kind of managing the sales team, sending them out, that type of thing. But I was commission based plus hourly based, salary based on top of like salary plus
Salary
commission on
plus
top.
commission. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So over time, now I've been with the company that I'm with now since 2012.
Wow.
Think about this. I'm in a management position. And the department is struggling because of everything, COVID. All this stuff that's happened, right? So COVID had happened, it really affected us. And ever since everything just kind of like been trickling, the dynamics of what's going on with this business that I'm in is just shifted so much. So our sales declined in my upgrade department, and it was just crazy. It was stressful. And I didn't realize how gradually the money was going down, because up until that point, I was flush, nothing, no concerns, right? So because I was flush, no concerns, I was still doing my other things, because I'm never going to rely on one source of income in my life. That's insane to me. I don't know why you would do that. Put all your eggs in one basket. So I was working on other things, started my own business and all this stuff, and I discovered business credit.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I haven't discovered that yet, but I'm looking into it.
Right. So discovered business credit, and I had fixed my own personal finances credit. So I'm telling you, when I tell you I was king of the hill, bro, when it came to I was king of the hill, you couldn't tell me anything. Plus, I had the finances coming in from my job, but I didn't realize how gradually it was starting to decline. It was just declining until really I started paying attention. So now all these cards, I'm talking the best cards. We talking platinums and everything. I'm talking, we got access here now. However, now I'm making minimum payments on
Yep.
everything just to stay afloat.
Yep.
And then I'm making minimum payment. Now this one gotta be late now. You know what I mean? So we playing this game, and I'm still using it to pay bills, because now I'm still in my mind, I'm still living my lifestyle, but the money's not coming in. Classic trap. Anyway, worst comes to worst. All finances is bad. They done jacked up my rent, bro. It's going down. And plus, me and the missus is like this.
Well, yeah,
Because
now that tension's there.
no. We like this because I've still got unresolved crap going on too. So, and I'm not dealing with this good. I'm not handling this well. I'm trying to numb myself. I'm trying to disappear off. You know what I mean? When I come home, I'm trying to,
I feel you.
you know what I mean? So it was getting bad. So I'm losing everything. Like, man, we're literally like, this is it. We done tried. Obviously, we know good together. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's a crazy thing. You can start justifying and all this
Throw your
stuff, right?
hands in the air. Throw your hands in the air. I'm done.
Right. So the thing is, but God kept dealing with me. And I'm just like, because my mama raised me better than that. My
Right.
grandmama been praying for me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
we know what this thing is.
Yep.
So, but and we're going to have another conversation. I have to invite you back for another conversation. I'm not going to do it now, but we definitely need to talk about religioning some things, because I got some questions, especially with you. I know you the right person to talk to, but I digress. So back to that. So I'm basically using those apps where you can borrow from your paycheck. This is how bad I am right now. You can borrow from your paycheck, and then when your paycheck hit, they pull it back out.
Oh, yeah. I've seen those.
Right. This is where I'm at with this right now. Just trying to stay afloat. Everybody else on the outside looking in, they know something could be off, but they don't really care, put their fingers on what's going on. They just know something might be off. So I'm barely surviving. And I started listening to Myron Golden actually at the time. And some things he was saying was really resonating with me, right? So he had said something about tithing. I know all about tithing, been heard about it, been preached to, you know what I mean? Been all that, all my life, right? Something I was never faithful in, just never faithful in. So call my mother-in-law. I had helped her with something massive where my skill level saved her a substantial amount of money for what she was doing. And I was able to do it. And I was not in the right mind to be able to do this. So, and did it. And when I did it and it finished and went back to depression and everything else and self-medicating and everything I was doing with it, right? I realized I had nothing to do with what I just did because I looked at the state, I looked at like my physical, mental state. For
Yeah,
me to create what was created
you couldn't do it on your own.
couldn't be me.
Yeah.
And it just and that was the first thought. And I was like, wait, God? Like I forgot God was around. Like, you know what I mean? But it was like, wait, God? So and then he and Byron Golden had mentioned something I was watching. I heard something about tithing. So it just prompted. So as I'm laying there in my stewing in my misery, this little thought came in my mind, very simple, said, you should tithe. I was like, tithe with what? I don't have anything. I literally don't have it. Like I'm robbing Peter to pay Paul. So I called my mother-in-law because I wanted to see her thoughts on tithing because you know she's a very faithful woman of God. So I called her and she broke it down to me. And literally, I ain't gonna go over all the details of the conversation, but literally she broke it down. She said, listen, this is about your heart position. If you're telling God, I'm trusting you over everything. So do what you must do. And he told you.
It's easy to say that with anything and everything except with your money.
Thank you. I'm glad you stopped right there. Cause faith and money, let's not forget what we talking about here. This is what's I'm telling you, this blew my mind. So I said, okay, fine. I was like, okay. I wanted to see God. I needed to see God. Even though I just seen God because I was able to do something that I shouldn't have been able to do in the state that I was in, it still didn't register, but it sparked the idea. So I said, you know what? I'm doing. I went to my wife. We not on speaking terms. We're not even sleeping in the same room.
Oh, man. Wow.
We beefing. This is real beef.
Wow.
And if anybody know my wife, you know my wife don't play. I ain't married no punk. My wife don't play. Okay. So I go to her and I said, baby, I said, I think we should start tithing. And she just looked at me. I'm like, okay. That was it. I left it alone. I didn't push it no further. So the next pay came. I'm still in that same cycle now. You gotta remember, I'm right. So I'm literally basically tithing off of what the net is. I mean, the gross is on my check, but I'm borrowing money to do it because because I'm in that cycle. I'm literally in that cycle. While this happens, I lose my position at my
No, dude. Wow. So life was life and for you too.
Right. And on top of when I lost it, right before I lost that position, he and the upper executive GM, we was at war. So it was miserable going to work. And literally, I'm doing this though. And so they offered me a new position, me and the missus, because she was in my department. They offered us a different position, and it was terrifying for both of us because she didn't know anything about where they were sending her, and I didn't know anything about where they wanted to send me. And we had a real conversation, and I said, "Screw it, let's just." And at this time now, we started coming like the mind, the you know, the will, all this started coming back. Now I'm not noticing it though. I'm not noticing the restoration is happening.
Right.
It's happening. You're in the middle of it. It's happening. So we're literally communicating, just reconciling while we're dealing with this fears. We don't know what's going on. And we had a conversation. I said, you know what? We should just leave. I was like, we just going to put everything. Now I'm ready to do everything on. We're going to put everything on God, baby. We just going to screw them people. we going to make it happen. Right. And then she looked at me and she was like, I think we need to go to work. It's like, I like, fine, if that's what you want to do. Right. Went to work. And let me tell you something. From the first day, October 2nd, 2024, is when I finally took that position. Sometimes I tithe people's rent twice. Or sometimes like in taxes, I can pay people's rent. I was back to a position I didn't even want, didn't know anything about, didn't even know what was going on. And I was just blown away because now the little tithes that I was given, I was tithing insane amount of money that I just a few months ago, I could have used that money
Right.
to survive.
That's right.
I went from survival to thriving, and from July through September solid. From July until that September, and then when we kicked off 2025, forget about it.
It's over.
But here's the thing that's crazy, because when when it started happening, I was already, remember that we was talking about time and squandering?
Yep.
I squandered time, but the experience was invaluable because the money didn't have the impact that it used to have. It just didn't. My whole, everything had flipped. And now I'm like, okay, like it doesn't, like for me, it's not even, I don't need more stuff. Like this was the hum of the time. You want to know how many pairs of Jordans I sold? Classic Jordan. I'm talking about the collection of collections, bro.
Like to stay ahead
To stay ahead.
Yeah. So you're giving up some prized possessions, man. Yeah, that's humbling.
Humbling. Matter of fact, I got one that I kept. You can't see them over there right now, but they the UNC ones, the original joints. The UNC ones, I still got them. My ridiculous self, I think I paid like $700 for these sneakers. You understand? You understand how stupid that is?
I mean, I don't want to say nothing, but yeah,
$700 for these daggone sneakers, man. I don't even wear them no more. They just sit up there on my mantle for nobody to see them because we barely get company. I'm like, what are they doing? I have no idea. But it just but going through all of that had really shifted focus. And it reminded me, like I seen God.
Yeah.
So and with me saying that, I seen God. So when the next thing had came, I remembered I seen God.
You were able to tap into that faith because you had been through the fire already.
And the only thing that made that happen was the decision to tithe. To do it. I like the conscious decision to say, this is the most important thing until this day. Now, it's not, oh, we on top of the world, we do what we want to do. The tithe is in the budget. Like, I'm excited. If I don't tithe, I have a desire. My ultimate desire, my dream, my goal is to tithe the most insane, ridiculous amount of money.
I feel you. I pray that same prayer.
And here's the thing, because I don't like, and I know you personally, but I'm not a church goer guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like me, and this is another conversation we'll have on another time, because I definitely want to pick your brain with it. So what I decided to do when I give my tithe to my mother-in-law's organization, she has a ministry, Medley Family Care Group. So I give it there because they build schools in Liberia, Nigeria, Ghana. They feed them, they clothe them, they sponsor, they give scholarships to the kids. And this is not like, I'm just telling you, they literally have her picture in villages. They call her Mama Shoes. We've been doing this, taking care of this organization for years. We used to, when Payless was still in order.
I never knew that.
You didn't know that? Yo,
I never knew that.
We used to get all these shoes. We still do get the shoes, but we had to, I've driven down to like Virginia Beach with a U-Haul full of shoes, me and a wife, you know what I mean? Delivering them or picking them up from like we done sent so much over there already. All my kids, my grandkids help. They, you know what I mean? Or like the whole family pushes this, right? So I know that this money is going to change lives.
Word. Okay.
I know exactly where it's going. You know what I mean? But then I'm not so legalistic with anything now too, because my whole goal, wherever I can give, if I'm tithing, I'm giving it, and wherever the kingdom's gonna be affected, that's where I'm giving it at.
Okay.
For real, for real.
I like that. I love that actually. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's not like, it just released me from the burden of obsessing over money.
Yeah.
Like money comes so fast to me sometimes. It literally, I'll never forget, Jadakiss said this in a line, money comes so fast it messes with your conscience. I experienced that.
Prophet Jadakiss.
You understand what I'm talking about? Because it comes because I didn't understand what that would do to your mentality. You know what I mean? So look at the world has shown us over and over and over again that money's not it. Because Diddy, a billionaire, and his legacy is destroyed at this point. Not saying he can't, he can still do what he need to do. Hopefully he's already healing and doing what he got going on. You know what I mean? But all that money, but the pleasure was the focus, not the purpose.
Not the purpose, not anymore.
Look at so many, and this story is not an uncommon story. The filthiest riches of the rich of the rich. Look at Rob Reiner. Just got murdered, him and his wife, by his own son. All the money, people got all the money in the world. And this is the result. So that's how you know money's not it. And these are just most little recent blurps. It's a consistency of this So, faith and money, I was able to muster or take the gift of faith, I would say, that I was given at that time and actually build upon it. And this is how I know that no matter what I do, as long as my intentions is to do the will of God for me, it's gonna work out.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm glad you shared that story because, I know I'm on this podcast to kind of share with you, but you sharing with me, that's kind of a place that I'm at right now.
Okay.
So last year was supposed to be a year of separation for me. That's what God said. Hey, man, this is a year of separation. And he gave me 3 specific things I needed to separate from.
Okay.
And I didn't do it.
Mm,
I didn't do it. I was sometimes up with it, sometimes down with it. But at the end of the day, all things considered, it would be considered a failure. I didn't obey.
right.
So towards the end of the year, some things happened in my life that exposed some of the worst parts of me to me.
Mm,
And now I've got to deal with this mess that's created in my own head and in my own life. And I start to clean up this mess, face these fears and face these facts. And then God said, so this year is going to be a year of obedience. The last year I told you what to do. This year, that holds, but you better be obedient this year, right? Because when you walk in obedience, live in righteousness, you ultimately get to receive the blessings of God. And that's what you're talking about. You are
right.
obedient with your money to trusting God through tithing.
Right.
And as a result, the blessing came upon you and your family. Tithing is also part of what I need to improve upon this year. Now, my major downfall has been my finances for a little bit over a decade. You talk about robbing Peter and paying Paul, robbing Peter and paying Paul. Been there, done
Right.
that. Because when I went to pastor the church full time, I took a $60,000 a year pay cut and we went into so much debt. It was unbelievable because I couldn't survive, right? But I was
Right.
holding on to the dream, man. I was holding on to the dream. So I'm paying for groceries on credit. I'm paying phone bills on credit. I'm paying for
Right.
everything on credit, just blowing up
Right.
my credit. So, big, 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 big hole to dig out of and climb out of. And so to me, I never was in a position to tithe because I needed every dime I could to take care of the house. And so I'm like, well, I'll just get God when I get God. I'll throw it in here, 25 bucks here, 50 bucks here. I'll just, quote, he knows my heart. Well,
Mhm.
truth is, he does know your heart and he knows that you don't trust him because you won't give him that money. And it's not about the money itself.
Yeah.
It's just about where we are with money. It means so much to us. So when we
Right.
trust God with our money and therefore our very livelihoods, right? And
Right.
our well-being and our provision, he takes that obedience and will bless you in response to that obedience. And so I'm glad you shared that story because it's just kind of confirmation for me that the path that God has me on for this year is the right one. And now, it remains to be seen if I'm going to be obedient or not, but that is the
Right.
focus. And I'm going to try to be obedient this year, one day at a time. That's the other thing.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't want to interrupt you, but I have to because you said that word twice, and I meant to catch you earlier.
Yeah.
Trying is failing. That's what my man tell me. Trying is failing. You doing it. You
Yeah. Yeah. You
doing it.
have to
You
do it.
doing what you got to do it. You just do. You do what you do.
Yeah.
My
You
sorry.
got
Continue.
No, that's it. Cause like I live in the world of I try. So like, people used to, like when I used to coach basketball, kids would, struggle through a drill or an assignment or whatever.
Right.
And they would come off the floor and say, hey, coach, I tried my best.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, what if your best isn't good enough today? Right? Well, I tried. I don't care. Here, tried. I don't
Mm-hmm.
need you to try. I need you to do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I need you to execute. You want to be on the floor, you got to execute. Well, I did my
Right.
best. Well, then your best isn't good enough. Your best needs to get better.
Right.
And people were like, well, no, best is best. Best is top. Best is the ceiling. No, best, your ceiling could raise. Your runway could grow longer. You can
Mm.
get, but your best can get better. All right. The better you get, your best and your capacity just increases. So let's
Right.
not live in that world. And I had to take my own advice because I'm
Right.
telling God I tried. And he's like, yeah, you
That's
tried, did
that's
you?
not the one to try that with. Right.
Yeah.
That's not the one to try that with.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
Weren't you the one that used to say your best can get better? Well, I need you to get better, son. And
Yeah.
so this year is going to be about obedience and being obedient, not for 363 remaining days all at once, but for one day at a time. That's where we're at. But I appreciate that story because that was kind of
Nah, you
confirmation.
won't.
That was
Nah,
confirmation
that's
for me because I don't trust. I
I
got to
love
be
that.
honest. I don't trust God with my money. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it hurts so badly, and the pain and the trauma has been there for
Right.
so many years now. It's real hard for me to let that go.
Yeah. And you know what? And that's a real thing. I think one of the most powerful things that we miss in communication and relationship is what just happened just now, allowing people to be themselves.
Yeah, authentic.
because
Yep.
because you're where you at, what you need to go through, what you need to face, that's in your timing, that's your journey. You have to go through that to get to where you need to get to. That's yours. Nobody else can own that but you. And I think too many times we try to copycat other people's think, like as far as in how they appear with that. And this goes back to the identity because we assuming that because of what we see, everything is in line.
That they're okay.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but and that's not, and that goes back to your business, and that's what makes that so viable because especially with men today, I really truly believe that men today are more tired than the nonsense than anybody else because I believe men have an inner desire to have family and around to have something to build, to have their families, to have their children. And if you look at social media, it's telling you the opposite, that everybody just want a baddie and a BBL and all this stuff, but real men want real women. They want to just they don't they want to lead, they want to do all the things they are told what men are supposed to be, and I don't care what walk of life you're from. So I can imagine, especially like in the church, there's a lot of men who check all those boxes and look so crystal, clean, Crisco clean, whatever, but they're really suffering holding up that shell.
Yeah. Yes. Part of the program. So with the business, the workshop that we work through, the framework, I should say, the framework, not workshop, the framework that we work through is called Take an Honest Look. Because
Mhm.
that's the key. Take an honest look at one, the good, the bad, the ugly in your life. You've got to become self-aware, right? You've got to be recognized, first of all, that if you were literally to write down all the things that were good in your life, the good does outweigh the bad. That's the truth. It's the good, but the good is small, it's simple, it's moments. Right. I
Mhm.
go downstairs, I see my grandson jumping on the couch, man. That's good. I go into the kitchen, man. I open up that coffee can, I smell that coffee, and that's good. I put that coffee in that pot and it produces a cup of coffee that I enjoy when I
Mhm.
come back upstairs and do my journaling and my writing and my prayer. That's good, right? I go downstairs, I see the smile on my daughter's face, I see the smile on my kids' faces, right? That's all good stuff. I'd have a good conversation with my wife, a funny text message with a friend, a back and forth with someone that I used to know, whatever. All of that is good stuff, right? The good
Right.
outweighs the bad. But then I got to take an honest look at the bad because the bad and the ugly have a way of taking away from the joy of the good, right? And so we can't appreciate or be grateful for the good because we got this bad and we got this ugly that we're contending with. So then you got to take an honest look at that. You got to name it, you got to call it out, and you got to put in a system or program, a methodology, something that helps you to overcome the bad and the ugly so it
Right.
doesn't rob you from your good and
Right.
stop you from achieving your and living in your purpose. And then the second phase is taking on once you recognize the good, the bad, and the ugly, you got to understand that the bad and the ugly ain't stopping you from moving forward. You're going to move forward anyway, but to where? Where are we moving? So that's taking on a
Okay.
look at the goals, the plans, and the actions. Make sure you have goal or goals. You have plans that support the framework of those goals, and then you take daily action to execute against those plans so that you can achieve the goal up top. And then
Mm.
once you do that, you take an honest look at yourself. Are you the kind of person that can be disciplined and accountable to you in order to take the action that accomplishes the plan, that reaches your goal despite the good, the bad, and the ugly in your life? And so to your point, man, that truth telling and that authenticity, especially like you said with men, really, we don't want, a lot of times men don't look at the bad and the ugly. We kind of hide it, we stuff it down. We
Right.
push it down because I can't deal with this right now because I've got to build. I can't
Hmm.
address my emotions right now because I got to provide. I can't feel these feelings right now because somebody needs me to carry them when the truth is I need to be carried myself, right? So we stuff it
Right.
down in order to perform for other people. But that's why, right? We look good on paper,
Right.
but we say there's got to be more.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's so powerful. Just my guys, I just, all the different things that I see people go through, as on a man level. I really feel like we have been forgotten emotionally, spiritually. I just feel like we just been forgotten and they just and our role is assumptive. They just assume you're man, do that. You know what I mean? Like, this is what you do. So,
But let
it's
me ask
just,
you a question. Do you think we did that to ourselves over time?
I don't think we did it to ourselves over time. I think no, I don't think we did it to ourselves over time. I think that I don't know. I don't even know how to say that. Now
Fair
you're
enough.
making me read. Wait, actually, now you got me. You have me thinking. We are definitely. How would you say it? Culpable? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah,
Culpable.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think we definitely are because even though we all was feeling it, or a lot of men felt that way, we never did. It just never was. It seemed to be a conversation between men to say, "Hey, I feel like this too. I feel like this too. I feel like we squandered that time because this could have happened a lot sooner. This sort of like resurgence of the true identity of what a man is within each individual man. You know what I mean? It's just certain things inherently that we have, and then there's things that culture and society has defined. And a lot of the things that I feel like culture and society has defined is a lot of things that doesn't define us. You know what I mean? It just and when you don't live up to that expectation, then you're feeling less than, and that opens up a whole new can of worms.
Yeah, yeah. The word I would use is overlooked.
Okay.
I think that, we get overlooked because of the assumptions to your point earlier. The role is assumptive.
Right.
It's just an assumption, man. We've got to do it, so we will do it.
Right.
We've got to provide, so we will provide. We've got to, right? It's assumptive that we're going to do it. Yet no one really has looked at, the feelings behind that work, the
W-
feelings behind getting that work done, the pressure of getting that work done,
Yeah.
right? And so, I feel like up to this point, perhaps overlooked is a word, but now we're looking within them and we're bringing it to the surface and we're talking about it, which I think is a real positive thing as men or anybody. Let's forget men
Right.
because everybody
Right.
everybody
Right.
has everybody has their responsibility, right? Roles and responsibilities, whatever it might be. But people now are starting to bring forth their feelings as they're feeling through and navigating through this world with the work that they've got to accomplish and the pressure upon them in order to accomplish it.
Right.
Because image is like to uphold or to reach someone's expectation of your image is very different than reaching
Yeah.
because the image of me is not me. It's the image you hold of me. It's not
That's
me,
right.
right?
That's right.
It's the image of that celebrity, right? The image of
Right.
that person. That's just their image. It's not who they
It's not there.
are, right? But we're starting to talk about now, not the image. We're starting to talk about who we are. And I think that's super, super. So that's why I've been purposefully and intentionally over the last couple of months trying to reconnect with solid people in my life so that we could, because iron sharpens iron.
It does. It really does. You said, man, you said so much in there, man. I can't wait to go back and listen to this again. There's a lot of good stuff. It's a lot of good stuff I'm gonna be catching when I'm in the editing mode. But you're right. It's something too that you had mentioned. It had triggered a thought in me. When you was talking about taking it day by day.
Yeah, one day at a
So
time. Yeah.
on my current journey, on my path that I'm on, one thing that I developed and is just helps me so much because I struggled with so many things, man. I'm a lover. I'm a lover of life. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
But the one thing that made me do it literally made me take life literally by the moment because I can have a bad moment, and while I'm in the midst of that bad moment, come to myself. And now, if that bad moment happened at 9, 10 and a.m., I still have the rest of my day. You know what I mean? Like I don't give myself over to my thoughts as much
Right.
as I used to.
Right.
Because I am a heavy thinker, I am an analyzer, I am a like I see so much stuff. So everything, like, is my mind is always going. So what I've been able to do over the last year that's really just helped me, because I was like, well, why can't I stop this? Or why do I, this, that, and that? And it all came down to my mindset, like as far as in my focus, my priorities, like prioritizing the things that matter in the moment. I'll give you an example. If I'm by myself, a baddie walk by, she cooking, smoking, everything I love. Okay, she's smoking hot. It's just me. Nobody's around. Wife in another state somewhere. I'm gonna show you how powerful this thing is. I've gotten to the point, and this I'm just using this as an example.
Yeah,
Got
it's
this
a
to
real
the, I
it's a
got
real example of
right.
it's real
I
life.
got to the point I can see whatever I see in my vicinity. The problem with me was the zoning. I see now, ooh, 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 now I'm thinking, ooh, ooh, that thing. No, I can see, and if my brain start, no, I'm not that's not my focus. I'm not missing anything over there. Like I literally, my mind, like every moment, because what happens is if you don't, then the next one to turn around, now you up and then now you like this. Now you look like a
Yeah.
Labrador.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But and what it does when I started noticing things about that, I do this with food,
Okay.
like certain foods,
Yep.
like decisions. Like this is just a decision thing. That's why I'm used like in those every day you're gonna get a moment of choice.
I like that.
And in that moment, you can decide, wait, who am I? Who am I feeding?
Yeah,
Who
yeah.
am I?
I love
And
that, dude.
I'm telling you, it's changed the trajectory of my days so much.
I'm gonna use that, bro. I'm gonna use that because one of the things that I got to separate from this year, that one of the things that God told me to separate from was sugar. So I'm a diabetic.
Right,
Okay. And well, you know, our family, the whole family
right,
is
right,
full of diabetics, right? So I got lucky and I got it too.
right.
But I love my sugar. I love my sweets. I love my junk food. And I just lost it. I got off my diet plan. I got off my nutrition. I got off my discipline with that. And I just was doing whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. And of course, my body
Hmm.
paid a price. I ended up at the doctor again, blah, 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 blah. So, and this was 6 months after God told me, get rid of that sugar, right?
Okay,
So now I'm disobedient and I fall back. I got to increase my all this stuff, whatever.
right.
And now, so this year, as I'm right, like it's Christmas time. There's cookies all over the place. There's junk food all over
Mm,
the place, and I am struggling, right, because I'm not winning the moment.
right.
Like
The
I'm not
moment.
winning in the moment. So what you just said was like super impactful to me right now because I got to learn how to like not fall to temptation, not as a whole, not in
Right.
general, but I can't fall in the moment. And
Moment. That's it.
in the moment, the decision is mine,
That's
right?
it.
And
That's it.
yeah, I'm gonna
That's it.
preach that. I'm gonna preach that. In the
Listen,
moment, the decision
yeah.
is yours. I gotta find the
I'm
scripture to
I gotta find a scripture. Hey, listen, I'm gonna tell you, it's so powerful you said that. So we was at at the New Year's Day dinner with the family, cookies, snack, all that stuff's there. I have been doing this so consistent. This is the one thing I've been doing so consistently. I'm down 35 pounds.
nice. Good for you, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And because I'm pre-diabetic, I haven't been to the doctor in a little bit because I had some insurance stuff. The company was going through some things with some shifts. New insurance just kicked in January 2nd. So now I can get things reset up because dealing with Cobra is just a nightmare. Just calling, sending, submitting this. Like doctor's appointments in Cobra is insane. They need to
Yeah.
revamp that. That's so pathetic. But anyway, I digress. So
Yeah,
forgot even they just that took me so far left, it just messed me up. But what I was saying is, but in those moments, so we was at the dinner and cookies, all that stuff. I think I ate 2 peanut butter cookies, just 2 cookies, and that was it. That was and I didn't want any more. And what has happened because of being in those moments, being like making those decisions and choices in those moments and stop being overwhelmed. Because what for me, the reason why I started even doing that is because I was looking way too far ahead.
yeah, yep.
You know what I mean? I was just looking way too far ahead. But what I learned is when you start just stacking together those moments,
Moments. Yeah. The victories.
before you know it, it's instinctive. Them choices become instinctive. this is the process that I didn't want to go through all my like since I came to any kind of understanding of anything. I didn't have the patience for it. That's another thing. I'm not a patient person. So I'm not patient. I'm
Nah.
not a patient person. But guess what? Since I know I'm not a patient person, when I have impatient moments, I can be patient through the impatient moments.
Yeah. Gotta learn it. It's just
It's
all
wild. I know the only reason I'm patient is because I know I'm impatient. That's crazy. But this is not kind of like how life was taught to us. You know what I mean? This is like nobody really ever taught me how to. I've heard a lot of word, a lot, man. I've heard some sermons that, man, I've heard you preach me, man. Listen, I've heard a lot of word. But the one thing when I be dealing like reality for me, like my reality, and I know is more people like me, show me application. You know what I mean? So that it's like teach how did you apply it? How did you get through it? This is why these platforms and what you're doing is so important because you're literally gonna walk with people through these experiences. That's so powerful. And the one thing, like even for my kids, this is so important. I tell my wife this all the time. I said, listen, our parents talked to us till they was blue in the face. What it do? We have to show them. You have to get over that. You know what I mean? I have to get over this because they're watching. Because you know what your kids know? They know everything about you, every flaw, and crying the way they know. They've been manipulating you for years and you don't even know it. They know you more than you know yourself.
yeah,
They
they do.
do. They
Yeah, they
really
do.
do because you're not focused on. They was focused on you because you're their parent, and that's why a lot of I feel like a lot of the rebellion is so crazy, and people get so mad at their kids and this. But no, you're looking at a reflection of you, and once you learn how to overcome these things, then you can really be the example and show them how to go through it with them. That's why mercy and grace is so important when it comes to anything because you can recognize yourself in
And
others.
yeah, so my shortcomings are no different. Yeah, so that's why I give so much grace because I've received so much grace, bro. Like I
Facts.
feel like I'm the most unworthy dude to ever walk the planet. You know what I mean?
Facts.
Like, you
Isn't that
know,
wild? That's so
yeah, I feel
crazy.
like I'm just
Yeah,
an unworthy dude. Like I should just be dead and gone and buried already. But that's why I'm so
crazy.
patient with others. And my wife kind of hates it because
I
I
understand.
think I'm too patient
I
and
understand.
too forgiving. And so it's created in my household like a very loose environment at times
Right.
because I'm just like, oh, I'll give them grace for that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they got to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give them grace for that. When
Right.
maybe in retrospect, I should have tightened the framework. You know what I mean?
And so
So they didn't go too far left or too far right. Neither here nor there at this point. But
right.
to your point,
Right.
yeah, I get it, bro. Because grace is so much has been given to me. I just give it so freely and willingly because, um, where would I be but for the grace of God, right?
Right.
Where would I be?
No,
I,
that's
I,
no,
I,
that's powerful. That's like really it's so important. It's even to the point, and I think like with people like yourself, myself, who are very introspective, right? Like when I deal with people sometimes I'm dealing with them and since I have the type of job I do and I've been dealing with people forever. So many like I've done spoke to so many different people from so many walks of life as like you have, I'm sure. And what I started being able to do, I started listening. And when I say listening, because like we have in sales active listening, they
active
say
listening.
whatever, blah, blah, we know all the job, right? Whatever. But I really started listening and it made me hear different. So now the elevated voice is not this issue. You know what I mean? Or whatever this is, everything, nothing is what it appears. I'm assuming that's my perspective of what they're doing. But what I'm realizing is I don't know you. I don't know what you're dealing with. I don't know what you're suffering
Right.
with.
Right.
So let me calm down because a calm word turns away wrath. So if I can be kind in this moment and let you know that whatever you got going in your head about me, the reason why you feel like you need to present yourself like this, you don't have to. And you want to know how many people, man, I see people turn around so much with me doing that. Like just honestly, just doing that and I'm just bringing all that back to saying me learning in those moments to make to focus on the like to pay attention in the moment, I should say, has led me to change behaviors, not me trying to behave, but the mindset has reworked so it's instinctive. So the
Yeah.
behaviors are no longer the same.
Yeah, I feel that. I have to like you, I've got to focus in on doing that because I struggle with ADHD too. So there's times I'm in a conversation, man, if someone's talking to me, I'm not listening at all. Like not only am I not like listening, I'm not hearing the words coming out of your mouth.
Mm,
Like I've been in situations, man, people are talking to me face to face, bro. And my brain is in another conversation in another world with somebody
yeah,
else, usually
yeah,
myself.
yeah.
And they'll pause. And I'm like, man, I don't even know how to respond because I haven't heard a
Have no
single
clue.
word that has come out of your mouth. But having that fault and flaw has allowed me to really, it's actually been a blessing because
Mm,
now it I have to focus, right? Because if I'm not intentional about being in that moment with you, I'm gone. So now I've
right,
got to focus. I've got to be kind in the moment. I've got to give grace in that moment. I've got to be intentional in that moment so I could hear you and then ultimately help you. And then the
right.
flip side is you're hearing me and helping me. And that's how we both grow.
That's it. That's why that iron sharpen that iron, brother. You already know, fam. That's what it is. But yeah, listen, this is conversation right now has exceeded my
Yeah,
expectation.
I'm having fun, man. I'm glad you invited me on.
I'm telling you, man, it just really has because it's so rare, like because men don't really share struggles or share growth. Like, like when we pass them, we're busy, we're focused, we're just on whatever we're on. So there's not really moments where you get to slow down and have these conversations. Now I am fortunate enough that I have strong men in my life, my brother, I have close friends, you know what I mean, in my life that I can have these conversations with sometimes. You know what I mean? So a lot of brothers don't have that or they don't know they have it because each one of them is scared what the other person's gonna think of them if they show a moment of vulnerability.
Right, if they
You know what
show
I mean?
right, if they show any kind of weakness, right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right, right. But guess what? If you my mans, you my brother, I'ma tell you what I don't listen, I'ma tell you now. I'm at a point now. If you my brother, I'm gonna share with you what I need to share with you because I've tried it the other way, carrying and doing all that. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about just going and whining and stuff. We don't have time for that.
No, no, no,
I don't
no,
surround
no.
myself with men like that. But what I'm saying is like real issues, real things I'm contending with or things I'm struggling with. Like, yo, bro, man, da 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 da. And oh yeah, like I was having a conversation. I'm not gonna say who it was because I know they're gonna watch this. So I'm not gonna say the name. I'm not gonna say the relation. But the person told me something, and I said, "Man, you is tripping. You are out your mind. You're literally about to repeat that. You haven't learned nothing." I told them that because I love them.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
get what I'm saying? And we had that relationship that we could talk. But the way they was presenting it, they was presenting the situation like it was one thing, even though they knew they was on some nonsense because they knew what it really was, but they wasn't being honest with themselves.
They're trying to justify their bad decision, that's
Yeah.
all. We've all been
Yeah,
there.
that's it. But I love the fact that subconsciously they really couldn't. They had to share it because they knew there would be some kind of addressing it. You know what I mean? So they thought they were trying to present it to be like it's whatever. But I feel really deep down that they did that because they really wanted the insight. They just didn't know how to present it at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or yeah,
So
they wanted the feedback without yeah. No, I
right,
get it. We all do that, bro. I mean,
right,
I've
right,
done
right.
that, right? Because I wanna soften the blow to my ego.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
I
that
want the
nasty ego, boy.
yeah, I want the advice, but I don't want to be like I want the insight, I want the feedback, I want the constructive criticism. But man,
Yeah,
I just want a soft blow to the ego. Don't knock it out. Like don't knock me out. You know what I mean? Like don't knock
yeah,
me out. Just give me a
yeah,
soft touch.
yeah,
But
yeah,
what
yeah.
I've learned about the ego, man, is there's no way that you got to knock it out or it'll knock you out.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you one of the best books I ever read. It's not a spiritual book. It's not a denominational Christian book, but it is a spirituality book. But the name of the book is The Power of Now. Have you ever heard of this book?
No, no, that's one I have not heard of.
So, what is this author's name? Edgar Tolle. I have to look it up. I have it somewhere.
Fine, man.
I think
ChatGPT
yeah,
will
the
tell.
power. Yeah, yeah. You can find it right now. In the site. You know what? That's how you know we are older because kids don't even talk. Half the times when we think kids are not communicating, that's all they're doing is communicating. because they don't have to they don't ask questions no more. They just find a source and now they know. Like that, it's a whole different way.
A whole
We
different
still have,
mindset.
right, I literally, when we said old people, when we talk, we sit there and talk about, hey, what's that? That's how all our conversations, hey, what's that thing? Or who was that? And Google right there. None of us use that. We just
Yeah,
sit
yeah.
there like we're having a conversation because we're used to
Yeah,
somebody
you're
figuring.
about to get up. You're about to get up from the seat, go to your library, find the book, find the author,
Yeah,
and then text it to me. In the meantime, I can just be like, "Hey Siri,
right, right. It's so crazy.
who wrote The Power of Now?"
It's so wild. But in this book, though, the whole book is premised on the ego and dismantling it basically. And it describes the ego in such a way. It's probably the most extensive thing I've ever read about the dynamic of the ego in a person's life. The power of now. Eckhart Tolle.
There you go. You got it.
Yeah, I think so. I believe that's it. Eckhart, Eckhart, I believe. Tolle, good luck. Tolle, maybe something like that. But if you can find it, like there, look, I got my whole. I forgot I could. Oh, my phone right here. My own phone. Okay, but yeah, that was a. If you get a chance, I might. I think I still. I have moved recently, and a lot of things got shifted. I do have a few of my key books. I'm trying to build me a little library. You can't see it. Yeah. So, but if I have it, if I find a physical copy, I will get it to you. Because I think I have it. I just got it. We moved. I got a ton of boxes still.
But just so you know, the way I move, when someone tells me about a book, that thing will be down.
You want it?
Yeah, that'll be downloaded to Audible about 5 minutes after we hang up this
Oh,
phone.
I forgot. Matter of fact, no, you don't have to do that. No. Hold on. That is one of the ones. Some things, but I know how to separate, the meat from the fat or whatever. How they say, whatever.
Yeah,
I don't
Bishop Smith used to say, "Eat the meat, spit out the bones."
spit out the bone, right? Yeah. So I'm from that era. Like it doesn't, and since and I'm not squeamish because I come from a very rough life. A lot of people wouldn't know that. Currently, I'm so thankful. Listen, I enjoy the people I work around because them people look at me, they treat me so kindly, and I'm like, man, I used to sell crack. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is they don't have any, they see me. They don't see that image. You know what I mean? They don't. It's so crazy. Man, I love it, and I don't mind. And people be like, I smile. I try to smile as much as I can, I laugh as much as I can, because I come from a time where you couldn't smile, you couldn't laugh, you couldn't enjoy yourself. You just had to be just stone face killer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
well,
all you had to be. You had to be cooler than cool. You had to be fly to fly. You had to be mean as about. You had to be all these other things than who you are. You couldn't enjoy anything.
you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
You gotta
So that's why now, man, listen, I love laughing. I love hugs. I love
Yeah.
hugs.
Well, that's what life's about.
Listen, I love them hugs. I'm a hugger. You know what I mean?
I'm a hugger too. I'm a
Yeah,
hugger
man.
too.
Yeah,
I
man.
was at a big corporate meeting a couple weeks ago, right before the holiday, and we were all hugging it out, saying goodbye to each other. And I
Right.
turned around, and I just, without even noticing who's behind me, I reached out my hand to give the bro hug, and it was the president of our company. And
Okay.
once I leaned in, I saw him. I'm like, "Oh, Jerry," and I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm a hugger." He's like, "Oh, why?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Why not?" And he leaned in for the hug. But like,
There you go.
but the Bible says, man, the word says, "For this is the day the Lord hath made, let us rejoice and be glad in it." And when you study out those words, rejoice and be glad, it means
Yeah.
to express it, like through a
Okay.
hug. It means to express it like through a hug, through a smile, through laughter, through your tone of voice that is positive and bubbly and what. That's what
Right.
that means. So it's not just like, oh, inside I've got to rejoice. Inside I've got, no, it means take that joy that's inside, man, and let's show it to people,
Right.
and have fun, have some fun. Like I like to just say, have some fun in this life.
Yeah. No, that's real. That's so real, man. Like it's so weird looking back at the mindsets that I had for years. Like going back and looking at them now, and I'm like, wow, man, you really put yourself in a box for thinking like that. You know what I mean? Like you really missed out on a lot of opportunity for just believing that about that. And when I started realizing that, it just led me to this journey of self-discovery where I just really started looking at everything and why I did what I did. You know what I mean? Like taking accountability for myself. I was actually being afraid of being alienated at that time. So I would have did anything to fit in at that time.
Fit in, right.
You know what I mean? Or I had abandonment issues. So, I might have compromised some things, that I let go or whatever because I didn't want that person to, I didn't want to feel abandoned again, or I didn't, you know what I mean? So it's so many things that you learn about yourself when you start taking this journey of self-discovery. But the biggest thing that helped me, I'll never forget this. My what was it? Okay, yeah, January. Matter of fact, last year, right around this time, right about the end of the month, it was one more. No. I'm so sorry. No, this is how this started. I'm so but thank you. I remember now. 2024, end of January, beginning of end of January, beginning of February. Precious was in Vegas. She had a situation with a guy who was supposed to be her guy.
Okay.
Not to go into details over it, but I hopped on the plane, and when I hopped on the plane, I had already basically said my goodbyes.
It was like that.
Yeah, I accepted what was about to happen. I wasn't planning on coming back home. If I make it, I'll be in the cell for life because this is what's gonna this is how this is gonna go down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I literally when I tell you I mourned the whole trip. I mourned. I accepted my fate.
Wow. That's crazy.
Because I knew what I was
capable of.
This is it.
Yeah.
I thought I buried this guy. Here we come, right? And in going to do that, God showed up for me in such a way. From when I landed, I had booked a hotel, last minute Expedia. It's like $40, right? At this casino called the Horseshoe. So I'm thinking some old rinky dink, crack infested.
For $40, yeah.
Right. I get to the hotel, get my key, go up to my floor, look at my key, look at my door. This can't be right. Try to open the door. I couldn't even open the door because the door was some kind of special door. It was basically the presidential suite of the hotel.
Ooh.
$40. This is what saved my life. I walked in. I'm looking. Beautiful room. Beautiful bar. The room was so big, there was a dining room table in my hotel.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, for $40.
A dining room table is in my hotel. I paid $40. I can show you the receipt. Okay. So then I'm like, okay. So I'm like, wait. So I'm looking. The room I'm in is massive. This thing is massive room. And I'm like, wait, where's my bedroom? So there's a little door over here. I'm like, oh, it must be back here. Let me just open this little door. And it was locked. I'm like, no, that ain't it. Go to the other side, open that door. Eat again. Another massive suite. Its own. I can't even describe it. I'll show you pictures. I think I got pictures in Google Drive.
I'm interested to find out how you pulled that off.
Bro, it wasn't me. I just booked it on Expedia. I had no idea. I wasn't looking for anything. I was just getting something. So when I land, I was going to get in. Right, because I really, just to give you a glimpse, I really didn't want my daughter didn't know I was coming.
Okay.
And I didn't want her associated with what might need to happen either. So I was coming in to be discreet. You get what I'm saying?
I got you.
So I just went on Expedia. I didn't even think nothing of it. I didn't try for this. This is what I'm telling you.
Okay.
So that's why
when I divine intervention.
Exactly. So when I get there and see this, and then hold on, I'm not done. I'm like, okay, this is insane. I open up the bathroom. The room is so big, it had 2 showers. It had 2 separate the bathroom door is open like this.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I'm like, oh.
I've seen that in movies.
Right. And guess what? And Shawn, this is what really messed me up. This is how the transformation started right here in this whole scenario in this moment. My daughter don't even know how much her situation changed the trajectory of our lives forever. So the first thing that came to my mind for the first time, like just out of the blue, I wish my family was here to enjoy this room with me.
Yeah. Amen.
That was it. That's what came to my mind. I wish my family was here to enjoy this with me. And then I'm like, wait, why do you care? You about to throw it all up.
You're about to throw your life away. Yeah.
Right? And that right there just sparked that thought. And then by the time I got to my daughter, and it was not what I imagined it was. You get what I'm saying? The situation he had, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. This person was displaying some very let's just say ski, you know what I mean? It wasn't good.
Dangerous.
However, it wasn't what it was, and God made sure of it. I didn't have to do anything. So you know what I got out of it? I got a week with my daughter in Vegas.
Yeah. In that environment.
In that environment. And it was winter out here. I was nice. It was, it wasn't nice night, but it was nicer
It
than
was
here.
not the winter.
It wasn't, it was nicer than here. So, but during that time, matter of fact, that's why I got the idea for this podcast.
Okay.
I had a lot of things going on during that time. And I mean, that week of solitude, but when I came back from that trip, after that situation and God showed up, I couldn't deny that God had something. But I came back and it got harder when I got back. Because I came back, I had pneumonia. I was out. I got
Because of pneumonia?
because of pneumonia.
Oh, it's that bad. Wow. Okay.
It was that bad. Yeah, I was so lethargic. I literally couldn't. I didn't have energy to do anything. It took me so long to recover. It was insane. So that snowballed into a whole other thing. And then that tied into drops of the money. So imagine I was out of work for like 2 months on top of already struggling. The rent was already increased.
And this was that rob Peter to pay Paul time frame, right?
Yeah, that was that time, right? And I jumped on a plane, no problem. I'm going, because I was still burning through those cards. You know what I mean? The last of it, I'm burning through because it's emergency. I could justify this, and but that whole moment, and that's when I ended up doing that thing for my mother-in-law, that I recognized the voice that I heard in Vegas. I recognized that because that same voice was like, if you do this, it's it. Like, don't you do it. If you do this is it. Make the right choice. You know what I mean? So I knew the voice. And because I was able to hear it the first time, it was louder the second time.
Okay. Gotcha.
Even though my state, my mental was off, I still could. And then now that same voice, that same still voice motivates me in a way I can't even describe. Like I stop and it's like, wow. Because every day I ask, I'm like, I need to see God. I need to see your power, man. If this thing real, I'm tired of this and this and this and this. And the whole time, guys always, I've never went anywhere. And on that trip, here's another thing too. And I'm gonna invite you back because we're gonna have another conversation because I want to pick your brain on this. But another thing too, because I was struggling with God. I had so much trauma and stuff with church and all that stuff, church folk and all that, religion in general, all that. God said to me, because I was just mad. And it's so funny because I'm talking to somebody I'm saying ain't there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's insanity, right?
Yeah.
But God told me very clearly. He said, yeah, you're not mad at me. How did it come across? He was like, you're mad at I'm not the God that you're mad at, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the God of religion. That's not who I am.
Yeah, I do want,
and it messed me up. That part right there, I was just like, because when I tell you, it was very impressionable. I was like, wait, what? Wait a minute. So wait, I can let go of the religion and start trusting you because I had a thing in my mind that it looked a certain way. It had to look a certain way. It had to sound a certain way. It had to feel a certain way.
Yeah.
And God was like, no.
It doesn't have to be like that. Yeah, we do need to. We could spend a whole episode on just that because
yeah. We're gonna come back to that. We got to come back to that.
Yeah.
All right, that's a bet. We'll come back to that.
I feel you on that. Even as a pastor of a church, for years now, I've been questioning. So, what is ministry? Where is ministry? Right, and we have boxed ministry into the building that is called a church, and we think that a ministry has to come through and out of that, and that's just not true.
Right.
And even more so in the service of others, that philosophy, that framework limits you, right?
Yeah.
Because in church, who are we really serving? Ourselves.
Yep. That's it.
We're serving ourselves inside the building. Not to say that doesn't need to happen. It shouldn't happen. It should.
Of course, right.
But then what are you doing with that outside? But yeah, we'll
get into that.
We'll get into it.
We'll definitely, yeah. That's gonna be dope. That's gonna be dope. But listen, Shawn, we got so much content right now. Can you do me a favor? Can you tell these good folks how they can find you.
Yeah, so the website is ShawnWalkerSpeaks.com. You can find me out there. And then the platform, I'm on Facebook, just Shawn Walker, but the platform that I really enjoy is Instagram. And you can find me at the Shawn Walker.
Okay. All right. That's awesome. And anything right now that you want to announce right now you got coming up that you want them to tune into
Just
or
stay tuned. Stay tuned because, like I
well, don't
said,
forget the TikTok handle. What was the TikTok
oh,
handle?
TikTok is the same at the Shawn Walker, I believe.
At the Shawn Walker.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And I'll make sure that these links is in the bio, good people, so you'll be
Yeah,
able to
I'll
follow him.
text you to make sure I got the right links for the
Yeah.
TikTok
Do that
one.
for me. Do
Yeah.
that for and I do apologize because I wanted to talk to you so bad, but I usually ask people like if you have any information you want to send me, whatever to just to have and put up for the people and stuff that follow you or do whatever, any links you have or
Yeah,
anything you want me to
I'll send
yeah.
you a couple things. There's like
Yeah.
yeah, I'll send you like the who I am and what I do kind of thing.
Right.
And then that way you could post that, put that
And
up there, and then
yeah, definitely.
the links will associate with that. But yeah, no, like I said, man, I'm just looking forward to this new year. This
Yeah.
content that we've been building super aligns with what God has called me to do, and the original, like just the call on my life that I feel like finally is aligned with everything else that I'm doing. So I just can't wait for this stuff to be edited and we could get it out for the people, make that impact, and
Yeah.
see how we can help.
Nah, that's dope. That is dope, man. I thank you so much.
I thank you,
I
man.
do. I
Appreciate you.
really do for just taking the time out, man. This has been a blessing to me, man. I really do. So, but yeah, but we're gonna come back to you guys with some more episodes. We're definitely gonna follow up with Shawn Walker and his journey moving forward with all he got going on, and we're gonna have some more great discussions as well. So we
That's
thank
right.
everybody for tuning in. And until next time, man, just stay up, stay blessed, man. It's God's fault we here. Remember that.
It's God's fault we're here. I love that. All right, man. Peace.